visit.
Hello, this is Joseph Garrett for GamesThirst.com. Today bringing you a first look at the game Bodycount. This is the demo of the game which has just been put up on Xbox Live now. If you don't know anything about Bodycount, it is a arcadey first-person shooter. It's been developed by Guildford Studios and published by Codemasters. And it's really back to the roots of what first-person shooters are. It's really fast-paced. You're facing against waves and waves of enemies. There's destructible environments, lots of big and explosive weapons for you to use, and there's boss battles later on, and it's really back to the core of what first-person shooters used to be. The first thing you'll probably notice though is that it doesn't actually look particularly pretty. I mean, it's not an ugly game by any stretch of the imagination, and a lot of the art in the game is really good. I've seen quite a lot of the like the developer commentaries talking about the game and how the colour scheme changes throughout the game in each different location, but in terms of a technical standpoint, I think it's not quite up to standard with some other recent titles that have been coming out recently, which is surprising because it's using the Ego engine, which is an engine which has been developed by Codemasters, and it's been used on games like it's been used in the Dirt franchise, and they've used that. I mean, the Dirt games look beautiful and all the different particle effects and like the destruction on the actual tracks, how they get degraded as you race. It's a shame that wasn't fully carried over to this game, but it's kind of understandable that it might not look as visually amazing because of all the stuff that's going on screen. They might have had to cut back a little bit so they could have so many enemies on screen at the same time, and all of the destruction and all of the explosions that are happening, and it only plays at 30 frames a second, which is kind of noticeable, but it doesn't matter that much. I mean, the game doesn't look awful, and I think allowances do need to be made for the gameplay rather than the graphics. And the gameplay is really where this game stands out. It doesn't add that much new to first-person shooters, but what it does put in, it does really well. All the weapons feel really powerful and satisfying to fire. The sounds are really good, especially with the guns, especially when you hear bullets whizzing past your head, and if you're there got a shotgun blasting through a wall, you really do feel like you're holding a very powerful machine in your hands. And it's the destruction as well, which is the other really good selling point for this game, because it's not like you see destruction in other games. It's not just if you fire a rocket launcher the wall will blow up. It's much more smaller and bigger, if you know what I mean. Like, you can shoot through walls with just bullets. You could fire a machine gun and just shoot out a tiny corner of a wall, and then you could fire through that. Or if there's an enemy on the other side of a wall, you could get a shotgun and just blast through it. And you can't do that with all the different walls. There is only certain small, weak wooden walls in which you can do that, so it can't be abused, the mechanic. But you see me here going and firing through some walls to like get to another area. And it also means you've got to be very careful at what you choose to take cover on. If you're there behind just a wooden barrel, you're going to be fired at, and you're going to have to move very quickly. So that does kind of change things up. And the aiming mechanic also works really well. You don't aim down your scope like you traditionally would in a game like Call of Duty. You do have a slight zoom in when you hold the left trigger. That's usually it's kind of like a cover mode, although it doesn't actually stick you to any cover. You basically hold down the left trigger, and you can then lean left, right, up and down, duck in and out of cover and try and dodge bullets. And it does work really well. It takes some getting used to at first, because at first you would be holding the left trigger and trying to move as well, but just leaning, and it takes a while to get used to how slowly you aim, because I mean it is used for getting precise kills, so you really do need to aim up normally and then hold the left trigger down. But once you get used to it, when you're dodging bullets and ducking in and out of cover, it works really well. It's kind of a bit like Time Crisis when you're behind cover, ducking in and out. You kind of get that feel of kind of just waves of enemies. It's kind of like target shooting, and like the enemies generally aren't meant to seem like that big of a threat. I mean, it's more about the numbers of them and the way you kill them where the challenge of the game is. Because as I say, it's very arcadey, and there's a lot of elements like arcade games, like leaderboards, and like if you kill an enemy in a certain way you'll get more points. Obviously you want to go for headshots, you want to go and get combos, and it'll give you specific challenges for each level, like kill a certain amount of enemies in this way, or kill this enemy using this gun or using this equipment, get lots of kills with grenades. And from doing that you'll be trying to get more points. So you're going to play through the level first time, you're going to have fun just killing everyone and blowing everything up. Then you're going to go through again, you're going to get a bit more tactical. The levels are relatively open for a game of this style, so you can attack from different areas. You're going to be trying to maximise the most amount of points that you can get on each level, which is a really good fun game, because I think with the failing of Duke Nukem Forever recently, there has been a gap in the market for this kind of fast-paced, crazy first-person shooter. A lot of games seems to be getting a slower pace, a bit more tactical, where they kind of hold your hand as you go through the game and you can't really explore and just have as much simple fun on this game. And it's kind of very similar to Black, which is sort of the spiritual successor to this game, prequel to this game. Sorry, it is very similar. That did have the same kind of destructible environments. So if you do like this sort of fast-paced, actiony first-person shooter, definitely download the demo and see if you like it. I mean, it's not going to be for everyone. I think the aiming mechanic and the fact that it's not visually that impressive and doesn't add that much new is going to put people off. People, if they're only going to buy one first-person shooter this winter, they might going to wait for like Battlefield or maybe Rage or obviously Call of Duty or something. But I think there is definitely an audience for this. I'd love to see a sequel to this game. I know this one isn't even out yet and I'm thinking for a sequel, but I think there's a lot they can add to this game, but it's a very solid new IP. It's going to be released for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. It's going to be coming out in America on August 30th, and it's going to be coming out in the EU on September 2nd. And I haven't seen anything from the multiplayer yet, so that's something else to look forward to. I'm going to leave you now with a little bit of the game without me speaking so you can hear what it sounds like.